it's still us. They never showed me love, they just showed me why I can't get close or trust. And I'm broken, inside my head I'm torn, love or lust. And I'm done with all of the gossip, I ain't got time, I just wanna go up. Why me?
Yo, what's going on, people? I go by the name of Prodigy, and I'm going to be breaking down how I made Still Indecisive by Kidwild. So we actually made this song around mid-August of last year. Today I just kind of want to just show how I made the beat, gonna break down the drums, the sample, everything else, and yeah, just kind of just show you guys what I've done. So the first thing that I've done on the song is I broke it down into the vocals and the strings. So the original Sade vocals sounded like this.
Scraping for pearls on the roadside. There's a force stronger than nature, keeps her will alive.
We actually got everything replayed from the vocals down to the strings, so the new vocal sounded a bit like this.
Scraping for pearls on the roadside. There's a force stronger than nature, keeps her will alive.
I didn't do too much to it. I just done a bit of EQ, a bit of compression, a bit more reverb, just some stereo shape, which pretty much just kind of just widens the vocal out. And then I also put some kickstart on it. The first thing that actually started off on this song was the 808, just to kind of get just the bass patterns of the whole song. So this is what the 808 sounded like. So pretty simple 808 bounce, but it was effective at the same time. So that with a vocal sounded like this.
There is a woman in Somalia. There is a woman in Somalia.
We pretty much used kind of the whole vocal throughout the Sade song, throughout the whole beat, because it just ran so well with it. So we just kept it all in. But yeah, so after I got the 808 patterns, the next thing that I'd done on the tune was actually just lay down some chords from the bass notes of the 808, which sounded just a little bit like this, which I played in. Nothing too major, but yeah, again, just effective. I didn't do too much on this. Little bit of kickstart, just done a little bit of EQ, a little bit more reverb. So that with the vocals sounded like this. Yeah, so most of the song was actually kind of just driven by the 808, so I didn't want any too like loud or annoying kind of chords. I just wanted kind of just something subtle, but that could just be there just to run throughout the whole song. So after I'd done that, I then used this synth type sound, which I use in a few of my beats, just to kind of give it that kind of like anthemic kind of epic sound, which I feel like this song definitely needed. Along with the chord sounds like this. The last thing that I put on this, which also ran throughout the whole of the kind of song, was just this small string phase. Yeah, so that hit on every 4-bar, as well as the synth type sound, just where the chord was changing. Other parts of the melody were also other bits from the Sade sample, which were the strings. So the intro was just the vocals and strings, which sound like this. Yeah, so that was what was on the intro, and then the last thing that was also on the intro was just a live bass. So with all that together, it sounds like this. And then the last thing that I'd used in the intro was just these other little string phases from the original sample as well. So after all them bits there, this is what the intro sounded like. After the intro was done, it was time to get into the drop of the beat. I started off with using a snare, just kind of gave it that hood trap bounce, but I always like to start off with it first because I feel like it kind of just sets the tempo of the beat for me. I just started with a simple pattern like this. As you can see, I've just got kind of just like different velocities in it, give it that kind of extra bounce to it. The next bit of this, I go on to doing the hi-hat. Yet again, just doing velocity changes, just kind of just give it that extra bounce as it's going along. The next thing I got on to doing on this was just kind of just a classic stomp. I then just done a little rim at the end of every 4 bar. And then also added these claps. I also added a tom around like the end of every 4 as well. Just to make it knock a little bit harder as well, I also layered that top stomp with another stomp. The next bit that I'd done was just add a few perks at the end of like every 2, which kind of just gives it that small build up when it drops back into the next chord. I also added these small little perks as well. And then the next thing I added was this little sound effect. So I just added a little bit of reverb just to kind of just elongate it. Had a small open hi-hat. And then also had this like little synth sound as well. And I added on every 4 bar. So I didn't do too much to this, done a little bit more stereo enhancer, just some EQ, a bit of delay and some reverb on that. So this is what it sounded like before. So after that was done, this is how all the drums sounded like together. After finishing up all the drums for the first drop, I also just added an 808 from the intro as well. So all together with everything, this is what the drop sounded like. So after the first drop, it come back into the hook again, and we just wanted to kind of just die it down for then when it comes back into the second verse. So on this bit, I went back to using the Sade sample strings and her vocal again, which sound like this. And then I also introduced the acoustic bass back into it. And then just for the second 8 of the hook, I just added the 808 underneath the bass as well, with just cutting out some of the frequencies and EQ in the bass so that they didn't clash. So once that was all done, this is what the second hook sounded like. Yeah, so that's what the second hook sounded like. Then it was time to go back into the second verse again. So just as it goes back into the second verse, I just reversed the chords that I'd done, and yet again just added a little bit of kickstart, so it sounded like this. So just to differentiate the first verse from the second verse, I just wanted to do a couple of changes. So on the vocal and the strings, I actually done this 1/4 sidechain, which sounds just a little bit like this. So as it come back into the second verse, I took out majority of the drums and kind of just left the snare pattern running throughout the whole thing. For the second 8 of the verse, I took out the snare and actually added a different 808 in instead, which sounds like this. So with all the drums, it sounds like this. As it was going back into the last chorus, just to give it that kind of like real punch, I added a kick. And then also just added this little piano chord just at the start of the hook as well. So with all the drums, it sounds like this. kind of just used what I used as the intro as well. So just come back in with the vocals and also the bass guitar. It took us around 2 to 3 days to get this song finished because we just wanted us to get it perfect. Kept on going back and forth until we got it right. I then passed it over to my brother KRG, who mixed and mastered the tune, also recorded it. And yeah, once his vocals were done, this is how it sounded.
Yo, it's still us. They never showed me love. They just showed me why I can't get close or trust. And I'm broken, inside my head I'm torn, love or lost. And I'm done with all of the gossip, I ain't got time, I just wanna go up. Why me? A gift and a curse. You can't play with fire and not get burnt. You can't swim and not get wet. I'ma always settle for less. Why? Cause none of my standards met. I just push them man to the side. Like, let me do what I do best. All that shit that you said is stuck in my head. I would've worn my heart on my sleeve, but I can't cause I'm wearing a vest. I don't forgive and forget. I can't. You said you're sorry, and I can forgive you, but I remember until I'm dead. I'm still indecisive, I ain't got an escape route. I can tell you about turning points, they can make or break you. There ain't a return when you pay them, man. I beg, don't let that faze you. And I've been places no one goes to, only life can take you. It's still us, they never showed me love.
So yeah, pretty much that was a whole in-depth kind of beat breakdown of How I Made Still Indecisive by Kidwild. I know a couple of you have been asking to see this, so hope you guys enjoyed. Should have a lot more coming out this year, so stay tuned and hopefully should be back for more soon.